So I never thought the coolest part, or one of the coolest parts of our build, was going to be the skylights, but it ended up being an amazing feature, and we're here at the Velux showroom in Oakville. They are open to the public as well. I highly recommend you guys come by here and check it out in person, but if you're not able to do that, don't worry, because I'm going to bring you on a tour with Mark. Come on in. So we're here at the Velux showroom in Oakville, and I'm meeting with Mark.
How you doing, Dwight?
Excellent. So you're going to be basically covering the different options that you guys offer today?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We have many different sizes of skylights and types. It really depends on your application that you're looking at. So I'll bring you over to this model over here. This is our deck-mounted skylight, and this is one of our performance skylights. And it has 3 layers of protection in terms of waterproofing from the outside. It's nice and low profile to the roof, so it's very energy efficient. We have high-grade glass as a standard, and then you can upgrade that glass depending on your requirements with it. We have different flashing kits that are made for different types of roofing material.
Okay.
But this is the fixed model, which is the non-opening, so this just lets light in. And I know that you have a venting skylight in your home, correct?
Yes.
So we'll move over to this model over here, and this is the electric venting version, like what you have.
Yeah.
So this is a solar venting skylight. This is our curb version, so slightly different installation method, typically used for low profile roofs, like flat roofs and low slope. The solar skylight has a built-in battery, and that's what the skylight actually operates from. The solar panel actually just keeps the battery charged up and good to go when it's needed. It's completely off-grid, so if the power goes out, you don't have to worry, you can still close your skylight down. Okay. Or the built-in rain sensor will actually close that skylight down for you. And this rain sensor on the solar unit actually senses the vibration of rain. I can sometimes get it to work here. There we go.
Very cool. So you mentioned that this is battery operated.
Yes.
What's the life expectancy of that battery? And is it easy to access and change if need be in the future?
The panel just pops off, and the whole system, it's like a cartridge you can pull out and put in.
Okay.
As far as the lifespan, we're not actually quite sure how long it's going to last, because there's a computer system on board that actually helps to regulate and try and maximize the longevity of the battery.
Okay.
So you mentioned that you had blinds in your skylights. What do you think?
It's actually probably our favorite feature with these skylights. So prior to ordering skylights, it's something that I wouldn't even have thought of. But what it ultimately does is give you control over that room in terms of lighting. So when kids are taking a nap, we don't want light in that area. So we actually have it automated, set up so when it's their nap time, the shades automatically close. And then also on those really hot summer days, you don't want that thermostat getting hammered with the sun that comes through this. So it's nice to be able to keep it closed, keep that heat out. I know they have a couple of different features. You can either get blackout or light filtering. So are you able to show us those?
Yeah, let's take a look at the different options. So here we have our 2 blind options, and this version right here is the room darkening blind. So this is like the blinds that you have in your house.
Yep.
So perfect for when you want to block the majority of the light for the day. Here we have our light filtering blind. And this blind is almost like having shears on your windows. So it's all about just diffusing the light and giving it a bit more of a soft glow to it.
Okay, are these solar powered?
These are the solar powered versions. So press a button and they will open and close for you. It would just be a solar option or a manual version. So you'd have to get a pole up to it to operate it. So most people end up going with the solar blind because it's so much easier. And when a skylight is up out of reach, trying to operate it with a pole is very difficult.
Yeah, that wouldn't make much sense. So a question that I would get often if I was showing these on Instagram, through Instagram stories, people would say, does it have a screen in place? It does have a bug screen.
It does come with a bug screen. It can be easily removed. There's a number of people that prefer not to have it in, so that's why we make it removable. Just pull these pins in and out, just like that.
That's smart. And then you have this unit, which is super cool. What is this called?
This is our balcony roof window. So this is for a loft environment where I'm standing on the attic floor. This is your roof, and this just closes down as one large skylight.
That is so slick. So would your roof need to be a certain pitch for this application to work?
There is a range that it works within, 35 to 53 degrees.
Okay.
Ideal is 45 degrees, but works within that.
And in terms of the size of this actual unit, does it only come in one size?
There are two sizes available, and the other size is the same length, just slightly wider.
Okay.
For cleaning, the bottom is fairly easy to get to, but we wanted to make sure that people weren't hopping over the rail onto the roof to clean the outer glass. So they built in.
That's so smart. All right, since I have an electrical background and I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to techie stuff, I went all out with home automation. So we have Control 4, but this is a product that wasn't available originally. Do you mind explaining what Velux Active does?
Absolutely. It is an indoor climate control system that operates the Velux Skylights and blinds. And the way that it works is with this little sensor system here. It will pick up temperature, humidity, and CO2, work that, check the outdoor weather stations and say, you know what, the outdoor air is better than it is inside the house, so therefore it's time to do an airing.
That's so smart. So this would have to be integrated with like your Wi-Fi network, I guess, at home?
Yeah, it's very simple. It just connects to your Wi-Fi network and then it takes it from there.
Okay, and then I see that you have actual physical remotes, but this also works in a smartphone application as well, correct?
Absolutely. You would control the majority of the function from the smartphone. You just have a lock sensor there that locks it or puts it to sleep when you're walking out the door if you choose.
Okay, so this is gonna give you basically full control from your smartphone of the shades, the indoor air quality, light filtering, all of that stuff with Velux Active.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. So do you mind explaining what Velux Active does?
Sure. It's an indoor climate control system for the Velux Skylights. And it does it a couple of different ways. Not only can you control opening and closing the skylight from your smartphone, but it will actually use, these are sensors right here, and that sensor will pick up temperature, humidity, and my favorite, which is CO2. I think it's one of the most underrated parts of the sensor system in determining is the indoor air environment good or do we need to have an airing?
So why is CO2 so important?
Have you ever been in a room where there's no fresh air and you start to feel groggy after a little while?
Definitely.
Well, that's CO2 levels rising in the room. So what Velux Active will do is sense the CO2 and say, you know what, it's time for an airing.
Okay. So in my situation, I have a backsplit home, so there's multiple levels, 6 in total. Would I need to have multiple sensors or just one in a central location?
You get one with the kit, but you can get multiple sensors if you want to monitor those areas and use that towards when you should have an airing.
Okay, and all of those would obviously talk to both skylights in the house and it would still do all those features that you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. So most people, when they think about a skylight, they just strictly think about it allowing light in and not having the feature of it being operable. So the fact that you guys have now integrated home automation into that is amazing. And after living in our house, we've been in there for about 8 months now, we've noticed how much of a difference it makes having those skylights open. Something that's often talked about is the stack effect. So will this help address that issue?
It helps to manage it because heat rises and it gets trapped up near your ceiling and it has no place to go. So when we open up the venting skylight, we're allowing the heat to escape outside. It actually draws the cooler air that you're paying all that money for to rise up to a higher level.
Okay, and now actually the camera operator, Kyle, his parents just had 2 fixed units installed at their house. Now the reason why they went with fixed units versus operable is because Kyle's dad was a little nervous thinking that it was more prone to leaking. Is that true or is that a bit of a myth or a misconception?
That's a really good question. It's a good comment. We hear this all the time from homeowners. They're concerned about venting skylights leaking. The way that we make our skylight, we're making it in the same fashion as our fixed skylight from a weatherproofing perspective. So there's no worries. We have the no leak skylight.
And like you mentioned earlier, if it does start raining, you have those built-in rain sensors, so it's automatically gonna close it and you don't have to worry about rain or elements getting into your home. Even if you're not there, that feature will kick in.
The very first line of defense is actually pressing the button and closing the skylight, but the rain sensor for sure is that backup for that.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for your time and all the information. I learned a ton, and I'm looking forward to bringing this home, installing it, and turning my regular skylight into a smart skylight. And for anybody who's interested in seeing the showroom in person, you guys are located in Oakville.
Yes.
And you're open Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.